Part of the reason my story is hard to tell is because it's been 59 years in the making. For 30 years of my life, I turned my back on the church. In the midst of a divorce, we had a parting of the ways, and I turned my back on the church, promising myself I would never again be part of organized religion. Mind you, I still prayed, but I always prayed privately, and I thought that was good enough. But as life rolled down, I found that my faith got tested in ways that I was never prepared for. My firstborn son fell deep into the throes of drug addiction, and he ended up a homeless heroin addict. Nothing can prepare a mother's heart for that kind of pain and fear. This went on for years, and it seemed at the time that no amount of praying was paying off. Things just seemed to go from bad to worse. I felt like I, too, was dying from his addictions. In hindsight, I think I was so afraid that my prayers eventually just turned to begging. Please, dear God, save my son. Please, dear God, change my circumstances. Please, dear God, make this pain stop. It was a dark place, and I felt like I had no hope. I was crippled with so much guilt and self-doubt. Why isn't God answering my prayers? Am I not good enough? Am I not deserving enough? What am I doing wrong that God would not hear me? Depression and despair were consuming me, and I'd lost all my joy in life. It was during these years that Emily became the worship leader at Faith and Victory. Russ and I had never attended church together before, and he asked me to go with him to hear Emily sing. And I agreed to go, just once, just to hear Emily sing. However, once Russ went, he felt a connection right away, and he decided that he wanted to join the church. Me, I didn't have any of it. Remember, I was not going to be part of organized religion again. So Russ attended without me, and I really did think I was okay with that. Until one day I realized that Russ was changing. He was happier than I'd ever seen him. He was making friends that I didn't know. And he was using words that I'd never heard him use before, like worship, fellowship, and testimony. So I began to attend church with him, begrudgingly. I was struggling to find reasons to justify my not going. Every time I go, I cry. So I don't want to go because I don't want to cry in public. I'll never forget Pastor Matt coming up to me and putting his arm on my shoulder one day and asking me if I knew the sign of a good church. And I wiped away my tears, tried to hide my embarrassment for crying once again, and I said, "No, I don't." And he said, "The sign of a good church is an empty Kleenex box. It means something's getting through and touching your heart." There went that excuse for not attending. Another time I was whining to Russ. I didn't want to go to church because I didn't have any friends there. And he called me out on that one right away. And he said, "Of course you don't have any friends, Peg. You're not invested. You're the first one, you're the last one here, and the first one to leave." So now not only was I supposed to attend church regularly, but I was supposed to become invested in the church. And then I was really tested with my money. Russ has lost his job, and he wasn't having any luck finding employment. Our savings was quickly running out, and we were in the most desperate financial position we'd ever faced. One Sunday, Russ handed me the tithing envelope to put in the basket, and I balked, and I turned to him and I whispered, "Russ, we can't afford this." And he turned to me and said, "Yes, we can, Peg. Just trust me on this." That was a huge turning point for me in this church. Could I put my money where my mouth is? It took me a matter of seconds to look around and realize how many lives this church was blessing, both within the church and in the community. And I realized then that I was coming to love this church. Now, fast forward to the women's retreat in 2011. Let me tell you, that was a battle between Russ and I. Russ, without my knowledge, decided that I was going to attend the retreat. He went so far as to pay for it in advance, without ever discussing it with me. I was not happy about it, and I was not going to be pushed down a path of his choosing. I agreed to go, but I would do it on my terms. I'll go, but I won't participate. I'll go, but I won't spend the night. My stubbornness almost cost me the most important opportunity of my life. When all was said and done, I was so overcome with what took place at that retreat that I knew I'd never be the same. I decided then that I wanted to be all in. There was a sisterhood at this retreat, the likes of which I had never known. I still had all my pain and anxiety in life. Things were far from perfect, but I witnessed testimony after testimony of women whose struggles were every bit as hard, if not harder than mine. and yet they were joy-filled and worshiping the Lord in the midst of their struggles. I knew that I wanted what they had, and the very next Sunday, I chose to get baptized. Best decision of my life. The more open I become to being led, the richer and fuller my life becomes. I think of all the years I've wasted praying for God to change my circumstances so that I could find peace. And now I understand that God was asking me to change so that I could find peace in the midst of my circumstances. I now am one of the same joy-filled Christian women that I admired so much at the retreat. Praise God. Amen.
I'm with you, and as your mercy falls, I'll raise my hands and praise the God who gives and takes away.